Hello, good morning. It's one of them mornings my technology just does not want to work. So there we go. We're stuck with monthly make this morning because, well, I can't find my other one and I couldn't find my front screen either. So it's been one of them mornings. Yeah. Never mind. So should we get going today? I've got something a bit different to share with you today. YouTube's deciding not to play. Oh, I'm having a technology like gremlin morning. Morning, Maxine. Yeah, we'll get there, won't we? So anyway, as long as the gremlins decide they want to stay away this morning, I've got something different to show you today. It's no secret, we here at Crafty Roo enjoy doing lots and lots of crafts, and by we I mean me and the kids. Whether it's painting our ceramics, sewing, knitting, all that sort of type of stuff. We do lots and lots of crafts behind the scenes because that's what we do. We have fun and we enjoy it. And one of the big things we do is sew. So things like little lady makes clothes, so does Bear. Bear loves nothing more than getting on the overlocker and helping. Well, he doesn't call it the overlocker, he calls it the chompy chomp machine, and just having fun making things. So I thought it was about time we combined our love of stamping and our soft crafts. Hands up, I am not the best sewer, whatever you call it, stitcher in the world, but it's something I enjoy doing, and I thought it was time to share it with you all, and just show how you combine your stamping with your stitching. And it's nothing new. It's been around for years. People have used stamps and sewn them. So I'm not trying to claim I'm inventing the wheel or anything. It is just about having fun and an alternative way of using our stamps. Morning, Mum. So should we have a bit of a look at what I have been up to? Yeah? Let's see if the gremlins want to work. Oh yeah, see, that worked, didn't it? So what I have done is I've designed a stamp set, our luscious leaves, with the idea of stitching in mind. So it is really, really simple. It's got beautiful like curved lines for us to follow with our stitching. So there you can see it. You've got a really simple leaf, you've got one that you can embellish a little bit more, you've got a smaller version of it, and then you've got some additional little bits. So you've got an extra bobbly bit, and then you've got some stitching. Of course that's not the right size, you know what I'm like. If I turn it over, you can see it's one of our, I can't say A6 because it's smaller than A6, but just under A6 in size. So if I put my hand next to it, you can see the size of these beautiful stamps. So what can you do with it? I'll come back to that bit in a minute. The idea is we stitch with it. Yeah. So you can see here I have used this one in the background and the smaller one in the foreground, and then I've just added some patterned fabric over the top. So we're going to sell that separately, or you can buy it as a bit of a kit as well. So you're going to have your stamp set, then you'll get a 5-inch piece of calico, and 2 pattern fabrics. They may differ slightly, but those are the ones that we're using this month, and then you'll get some iron-on adhesive with it too. Don't worry, we're not expecting you to, I've got bits all over my desk, I don't know where they come from. Not expecting you to know exactly what to do with it. So what we've also done is, excuse my poor printing, because my printer, well, I couldn't get the computer to do what I wanted, and then my printer didn't want to do what it wanted. So on our ooh, that's a bit big, there we go, on the website underneath inspiration you will find, hopefully shortly because it's not loading up very quickly, some layout ideas. So this is the layout I used to create this one. Yep, so it's really simple, really easy to do, and you've also got for this a step-by-step. Now ignore my printing, it does look a lot fancier than that on the website, and it takes you through step by step. You can see my little fingers there. Takes you through step by step what I have done to create this. So if you are new to stitching, new to fabric, soft crafts, there is a step by step there too. That's on our website under inspiration, and then it should say Stitcheroo, and there'll be a lovely page there when it decides to load, which could be later today because it was having a bit of a hissy fit this morning. And then there is also a bit of a challenge one. So if you're used to stitching and you just fancy a bit more of a challenge, there's also a layout using all the different bits from our kit project set there as well. So you can see it's very similar. So you basically build it up the same way, and then we just add an extra panel of fabric. Now there's mine, but it's not quite finished because I want to add a few bits of a few buttons and things like that. So I've done that one on the machine. This one has all been done hand stitched. Yep. And the reason I've done 5-inch, you're looking at these layouts and going, oh, what's she talking about? So this is a little bit bigger. So you've got your 5-inch piece of fabric. We're going to leave ourselves 1/2 inch around the edge so that over the next few months we'll be able to put them all together and either make a bit of a quilt or a tote bag or a journal. So there's going to be lots of other things we do to build onto this. But it's like I say to Bear, you don't go and eat a cake, you go and eat a slice of cake, and before you know it you've probably ate the cake, but you start with a slice, and this is our slice of cake, and ultimately we are going to create something bigger, but we couldn't eat the full cake to begin with. Yeah, does that make sense? All about little steps as we go along. So I've got a little bit more inspiration to show you. So yeah, that's our basic one. I don't want to say basic, starter one. So if you are completely new, this one, if you fancy giving yourself a bit more of a challenge, you've got that one. Ignore my rather bad machine stitching, but it's giving you an idea. And there will be videos on website as well for this. So Sue's been busy as well. So here's a bit of inspiration from Sue. So she's used the big leaf and actually intertwined it with the smaller leaf. She's used those lovely little dots. I don't know if you can quite see them if I hold it up. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful hand stitching there. Mum's stitching is a lot neater than mine. I will add that to it. And then Mum's gone off piste as well, and she's used a bit of Hessian. And again, this is very Mum colour scheme, isn't it? Browns and greens. And again, she's used that beautiful one with the extra bits on it, the embellishments on it, and then those two little ones. But it just goes to show you can use it. You can stitch onto anything, can't you? And if you're wondering how she's done that, she's just used a bit of the ribbon to reinforce that Hessian behind. But hopefully my plan is over the next few months we will be doing extra steps. Yep, so this month we're looking about how to put our fabric, how to attach our fabric onto our pattern fabric onto our plain fabric. Next month it's more around plique, and then so on and so on, and we will just slowly build up some beautiful little panels that we can turn into something much bigger. And of course, if you're not into stitching, it's a great little stamp set as well. So I've taken our our starter layout and turned it into a card. Now this is 6-inch, it's not 5-inch. So yeah, you can see how it all links together, can't you? So what you would do to make a card, we've just done to make a piece of fabric, a fabric panel. So that is it. That is all I've got to show you. No, I wouldn't leave it there, would I? So should we have a bit of a go? I'm not going to do all the stitching today because it does take me a while, and with my lovely my arthritis in my hands, it does take me a little bit of time. But what I found is it's also been great for doing at night in front of the TV. And so instead of keeping my hands busy by eating lots and lots of biscuits, I've been stitching, and yeah, it's helping me not eat as many biscuits. So that's just me. Right, let me get that bit off my so I've basically what you will need, in addition to your fabrics, you'll need some thread. Now I'm just using some embroidery thread. You'll need needle, some scissors, and I'm sorry, there is no way around this, you are going to need an iron. And all of that, I know how rude I said that I word, it's almost like swearing, isn't it? So down at the bottom of your step-by-step, like with our KISS projects, there is exactly what you will need. Yep, so you're going to need either the pack, or it gives you the sizes of the fabric you need. You need a stamp, that's the one I've used, but obviously you have got lots and lots to go on it. And then you've got your other items, so stamp base, some light permanent ink, your iron, some scissors, sewing needles, and embroidery thread and cotton. Mum thought about putting the brown sample onto a shopping bag. Absolutely, you can do anything with these, can't you? It's just a way of expanding the use of your stamps. And like I say, it's been around for years. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what we've been up to. So I'm going to do the pink one because I've done the blue one before, so I'm going to move that one out of the way. I'm going to do my pink piece. Now, I haven't told you what size to cut these because that is completely up to you, but just journal fronts, absolutely, Maxine. One of my ideas that we're going to turn these into is a fabric journal, and because I think they're just so pretty. And what I should say as well is I'm going to be using my VersaFine Claire, just, well, I will do if I can find it on my desk, to add my inks and things like that. And over the months we'll be mixing in our like distress oxides and things like that. So this is not something to go through the washing machine. It's not something to be manhandled, yeah, so it's not going to be able to go through the washing machine. If you want it to go through the washing machine, you'll need to use fabric paints and fabric inks. I'm trying to work with what we have, what I know you paper crafters that follow us have. Yeah, so yes, I will be making one of my will be a journal, another one will be a bag, but that's, like I was saying before, that's our big piece of cake, our big cake that we are working towards, not our little individual pieces. But absolutely, yes, my plan is to make a fabric journal with this. So I'm going to start off with my, yeah, don't look at this one. If you get the kit, yours will be nice and flat and it won't be all bent and crispy like mine. What I'm using is iron-on adhesive, so lightweight iron-on adhesive, and I am just going to cut this into a rectangle. Now, there is enough, like I say, I might want it to keep that a bit longer. I probably did actually. I'm going to have to pop an extra bit on there because I did want it longer than that. It's because I was trying to talk and concentrate at the same time. And it's really weird. Sitting here and doing paper crafts, not got a problem with that. I could come and do that all day, every day. But because this is a little bit different and it's a little bit out of my comfort zone, there you go, I'm going to stick those two pieces together on my back of my fabric, I think. So basically I've cut my iron-on adhesive just so I know where it's going to go. Now remember, we've got a 1/2 inch border on here as well. And then I'm going to take, I've moved my chair and now it squeaks more than it used to. There we go, I've got my smoky grey. You want a pale ink basically, so I am using my pale, my smoky grey. I could have gone and used a pale pink or something like that. I'm just going to use my grey, and then all I'm going to do is grab my stamping block, grab my lovely leaves, my luscious leaves, there we go, and I'm just going to ink this up. So if I, again, everything is in your step by step, or you've got your layout. So I was going to try and do it so you can see the layout. I'm gone. You know, some days if I had a brain I'd be dangerous. If I do it like that, you can see there or thereabouts, you can see the layout we're working to. Move my needle because I will lose that, and I'm just going to ink this up. So just make sure it's nicely inked like you would if you were inking up onto paper. Obviously you need to make sure your fabric's nice and flat as well, so if it's a bit lumpy and bumpy, give it a quick iron beforehand. So I'm going to take this one, I'm just going to twist it again just like I was on I would if I was on my paper. I'm going to make my life easy and move things around so I can stamp more comfortably. I'm just going to stamp that on there. Obviously I'm not going to do all of this today because it does take me a bit of time to stitch, but I just wanted to give you a bit of an idea. There we go, just give it an extra press as well, because remember, when you're stamping onto paper, 9 times out of 10 we're stamping onto something that's nice and smooth. Fabric's not like that because it's got a grain to it, hasn't it? So just give it an extra bit of welly. There we go. And then again, I'm going to cheat, that's going to come across like so. And then this little one, I'm going to stamp in there. And obviously you can embellish this as much as you wanted to. If you wanted to add a little bit of ink behind there, you could do. But just remember, things like distress oxides and stuff is going to... I can't stamp and talk at the same time. It's really funny today. It's because it's outside my comfort zone a little bit. There we go. So obviously if you wanted to add your inks to it, you can, but bear in mind you're not going to be able to wash it once you have done that. So if you were to put a bit of a distress oxide background onto this, go for it. But just remember, there we go, I think that's fine, isn't it? So I'm going to move all this out of the way. Now, you're probably thinking, well, why is she not sewing it now? Because I want to cheat. I do love me sewing, but I also don't want to be sewing more than I need to. So if you look at this one, yeah, if I turn it over, you can see where my extra fabric is, yeah, where I've sewn around it. Again, I said I wasn't the neatest to sew on the back. So all I've sewn is a bit I'm going to see. And also that helps us when we come to put our extra fabric over the top, because it would be lumpy and bumpy when we come to adhere that to it. So it's easier to get your layout on and then do your stitching. Or that's how I find it. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm just sharing what I enjoy doing. I'm going to move that out of the way. I've just cleaned off my laptop because it's not sounding very happy because I keep throwing it full of stuff. And then I keep piling more on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my ironing board. Well, it's not my ironing board, it's my quilting mat thingy-mabob. Mum will recognise this, it's super old, and actually you can tell it's been well loved over the years as well. It's super old. Quilter's press it's called. I'm just going to grab my iron, which was underneath my table. Now I have got an iron I use for crafting. So this is the one that you've seen me use before for Angelina fibre. Maxine's saying there's no right way or wrong way to craft. There isn't, and that is the key of what I'm trying to say basically. This is something I enjoy doing that I want to share with you, and hopefully it gives you another way of looking at your stamps. Because I know we've all got hundreds of stamps sat looking at us, and they could be doing so much more. And this way they can, can't they? So basically, ironing board. If you're using your ironing board and your posh iron, make sure you protect your surfaces because you end up with things like glue stuck on it. This is why I've got my quilter's press. It's just a board I don't mind getting glue on and things like that. So if you are using your bestest iron and your bestest ironing board, put down some greaseproof paper or something to protect it. Yep. To be fair, I can normally find my crafting iron, but I can't find my normal iron because it's normally tucked away in the cupboard because I hate using it. So it's probably one of the only times you ever see me using an iron. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to iron my piece of fabric to make sure it's lovely and flat, which it is. I'm just going to make sure it's cool. The problem is if it's warm, when I come to put my adhesive near it, it will stick instantly, whereas if it's cooled, it gives me a little bit more time to position, which is what I need because I've put mine in too, haven't I? Hopefully. So that's pretty much cooled down now. And then when I come to put this on, I'm not going to do it right to the edge. I'm going to just do it in a little bit. I'm going to pop it down on there. Just like that. I'm going to just pop my iron on top. And you'll notice this time I'm just holding my iron in place. I'm not swizzling it round. And obviously if you're using a bigger piece, you'll pick it up and move it. There we go. And then let's just check that's all sealed. It has. Oh no, it hasn't. So what I should have said, when you come to attach this to your fabric, you obviously want the paper side up. If you try and attach it with the glossy side up, that's your stick. And you're just going to end up with that all over your iron. Which is not what we want. Definitely not what we want. There we go. And then I'm going to trim this down a bit. And if you want rough edges, so can you see mine's starting to fray a little around the edge, which is what I love. Yeah, and I'm going to keep chuffing that up, I think. Yeah, cut it so there's a little bit of a border between your adhesive and the edge of your fabric. But if you don't like frayed edges, like I bet mums are neat. I know what mums like. Mums will be neat. They are indeed. Let me show you. It's funny, isn't it, how you always know what somebody's going to be doing. Mum will have cut through her adhesive. Yep. So they don't go frayed edges. So I'm actually going to cut into my adhesive this time, so I get lovely solid edges, just like that. So just as if you were using your paper, we've gone for an area of colour. If we were making a card, it's an area of colour on your card. If you wanted it perfectly neat and tidy, you can chop it as well. You know, draw your lines and then chop along them. Whereas for me, you know me, I like the higgledy-piggledy. In fact, I'm going to make this one a little bit more. And I know every time I cut it, I'm making it smaller, aren't I? There we go. So now I've definitely got a I can't say the words, higgledy-piggledy one. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to remove the paper, and you can see how easy that comes out. And I don't know if it's going to be, yes, there you go. Can you see now my fabric's shiny? If we go to that side, there's no adhesive. That side, it's all nice and shiny. And that means my adhesive's stuck and it's all ready to attach to my fabric. So I'm just going to pop this wherever I fancy. It's going to go there. And again, if you're using your best iron, cover it with something, whether it's a piece of fabric or greaseproof paper. And what this is also going to do, adding it here, is it's just going to seal this ink a little bit better as well. I'm just going to grab my iron and plonk it on. Yeah, I don't like using irons, can you tell? So one time I will, this and when I'm quilting. There we go, and I'm just going to iron the rest of it because, like I said, it helps to just seal that ink a little bit more. And I have used VersaFine, so it is a permanent ink, but even though it says permanent, that's for on things like paper. It's not necessarily going to stick to your fabric. It will, it's going to do better than if you put oxide on there, but it's not a permanent ink. It'll probably last maybe 10ish washes. If you're looking for a permanent ink, you're looking for more of a VersaCraft. There is another one, can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But there you go. And then all I'm going to do is just check. Nope. Can you see when I rolled it up there, my corner didn't want to, my corner's not quite stuck. Would help if I actually showed you. So I'm just going to pop that back down a second. And of course, you might have things like hoops and things to help with your sewing. So if you're into your crafting, into your stitching, you will have hoops, which is ideal. Just come pop a hoop on it and then it keeps it nice and taut when you are crafting. I'm just going to move that out of the way. I need to make sure I don't knock that iron. There definitely isn't enough room for it to go back on the floor. And now it's just down to stitching. So like I say, I've got some embroidery thread here. Oops, it's got a nice knot in it. Not what I wanted. And I'm going to take a piece. And I know it looks like I've taken loads there, and I have taken a lot there. Oops. And I'm going to take 3 strands of it. So normally your embroidery thread will come in with 6 threads within it. And I'm just going to take mine. It's really funny, you know, you can do this for, I've been doing cross stitching things since I was little, and I mean little. We used to do fabric canvas and all sorts when I was little. And the moment I came to start doing it to film the videos, it's like I couldn't even remember how to properly thread a needle or anything. It's really strange, isn't it? And yeah, I can sit there and do paper crafts all day until the cows come home. So that's why the video's taken a little bit longer than I wanted it to. So I've now got 2 pieces of thread. That one's going to go over there like so, and this one I'm just going to fold in half and join up my 2 ends, and that way I've now got a 6 skein, 6 pieces of thread to work with. So I'm going to have nice stitches. You can see I'm just letting it go back, so it all curled back into one. But what it does mean is I can cheat. You know me, I'm all about cheating. Yep, I'm just going to thread my needle, and I'm going to start with this big one here, and I'm going to do a bit of a chain stitch. So I'm just going to come in here, just like that, and then go back down. And then because I have put my needle in, my thread in half, I can just come back here, loop it, and now we're good to go. Otherwise I'd have had to like sew it in and everything, and it gets complicated, and I get really stressed out joining and unjoining threads. So I'm gonna start off by doing a chain. So can you see at the centre of mine I've got quite a big chain stitch going on. So to do that, I'm going to move my thread to one side. I'm going to come and pop it back in virtually where it came out from. Yeah. And then I'm just going to go about 1/2 centimetre up, like so. If I bring that up a little bit closer. See, I am totally not used to doing sewing on camera. And I'm going to pull it through. There you go, I've got my first little chain. So I'm going to move that to one side again. And this is where if you're working on a hoop it is a little bit easier. I'm going to pop that back in, but you don't need to, is the key. Yeah, you really don't need to. I'm going to go back into where I've just come out of, and about 1/2 centimetre up, pop my needle back out. Make sure that thread's underneath my needle, round and up. But you can stitch it however you want. This is just what I fancied doing. So again, move it to the side, wrap it round, 1/2 centimetre ish. No one's going to come along with a ruler. If they do, well, there's lots of things that I could tell you to do to them. And then we're just going to keep going up, and there's no race. Okay, to get this done. So again, pop it to one side, make a big loop, and I've obviously cut myself a way bigger piece of thread than what I needed. Oops, I've got that caught, so I'm just going to jiggle it a little bit like so. There we go. Again, make myself a big circle, pop it in virtually the same place, and then up, round, and pull. And again, we're nearly there. I'll keep going with this one. So again, make my circle, up, just like that, round the back and through. But again, there are loads of different stitches out there. This is just the one I thought, you know what, that'll look quite nice on there. Because it's the centre stalk, isn't it, of my flowers. At my leaves even. Round. This is going to be my last one, so I'm going to come up here. Oops. Getting carried away with myself. Just like that. There we go. And then just to finish that off, I need to step over my stitching line and down. Just going to make that look a bit tighter. There we go. So there you go, you've got that lovely chain stitch all the way up the stalk of our leaf. I keep wanting to say flower. It's not a flower, it's a leaf. And then let me grab this one again. So you can see on mine I've done chain stitch up the middle. I'll show you this one because it's a little bit neater. Yeah, don't look at that one too closely. So chain stitch up the edge, and then I've just done a running stitch all the way around the edge of these. And if you notice as well, I've played with the thickness of my thread. So this has all been done in 6 thread, and then these ones have been done in 2 or 3, I can't quite remember. So yeah, so the number of threads you use will also give you a different look on there. Yeah, so I've got that one on there now. I'm gonna just go round and do a bit of a running stitch, and that's why I tried to keep the design of this stamp set as simple as possible. I'm just going to go back in where I came out of, just like that. I've got a little bit of a lumpy bump on there, and then I'm going to do about 1/2 centimetre. So I'm going to put my needle in, and then I'm going to pop it back out about 1/2 centimetre further down the road, and then I go back over the top and then pop it back out in that hole there. But you can see it's dead easy, dead easy. In about 1/2 centimetre, and I'm just following that lovely thick line we've got, and in and out. Yep. So again, 1/2 centimetre, and when you come to slightly tighter turns, maybe you want to just make your stitches a little bit smaller. Yep. So just pop that in there. Oops. And obviously you take your time with this. I'm trying to show you as much as I can without you all sat there yawning and falling to sleep on me. But it's really that simple, and you can see it is really quite relaxing, I find, as well. So as much as I love using the Chompy Chomp machine with Freddy Bear, or the sewing machine, my fingers do worry a little bit, because he's not the gentlest sometimes. But with this, it's only my own fingers. There we go. So you can see I've almost done a whole leaf. And then I'm just going to bring it back down to the bottom. There we go. So we've got our first little leaf done. Then all I'm going to do is just flip it over to the back, and then where I've got my stitches on the back, I'm just going to wrap my thread around and move on to my next lovely leaf. And see, that's why I cheat, that's why I do slightly longer bits of thread than I need, so that I don't have to keep joining and unjoining. I just keep going. So I'm going to come onto this leaf and then go round. See, I could sit here now for hours doing this, but I won't. Just a bit more of a running stitch. Right, come on, girl. But it's so therapeutic and so lovely. You could, if you wanted to, do it all different colours. I've chosen pink because that's what my fabric was. I did blue on my last one. But you can see how you just build it up slowly. And then this, all I've done is taken some ordinary thread and gone round the edge using my ordinary thread. You could do it on a sewing machine if you've got a sewing machine, which I did on my other one. I went over clever on this one. As you can see around the edge here, I've just stitched using my sewing machine. I tried to go round the leaf as well, didn't quite like how that turned out, and I need some buttons to finish this one off. But you can see, use what you've got, use what you know. If you've not got a sewing machine, you can do it just as well. So there you go. That is our stitcheroo, and every month I'm going to be coming up with a slightly different project. So like I say, next month is a plique. We've kind of done a bit of a plique here, but it's more about, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but you get the idea. It's going to be slightly different. Where's my stamp set gone? There it is. We have our lovely Luscious Leaf stamp set. I am going to carry on with that one, so watch this space because I will finish that one off. We have our stamp set, which again doesn't just have to be used for craft, for fabric. It makes a lovely card. Where's it gone? There we go. So there's our card, made exactly the same way. All I've done on this one is I have masked it off. Yep, so we don't get to see the other little bit of that leaf, but it's exactly the same layout. So if you can do this in your cards, absolutely you can do it on your fabric. You'll just need an iron, some thread, a needle, and that's it. And most crafters will have a needle and thread somewhere. Now I am using embroidery thread, but you could use ordinary thread, so normal cotton thread. Just make sure you double or triple it up a little bit to get your lines a little bit thicker. So there you go. Keep showing you that one. There's Mum's idea. Again, you could do that quite easily, copying that onto paper. And there's that lovely one that she says she wants to put onto a bag. That'd be why she was wanting to know if we had any bags. We did. So there you go. How cool is that? I hope you like it. Oh, I've just noticed the ribbon's got a sparkle in it. Thought my eyes were going funny. It's not. The ribbon's got a sparkle. So yeah, there you go. It will be on the website later today. Well, whenever it decides it wants to load up. I tried a new one where it says load at a certain time, and it didn't. It started to, and then it's just taking forever. Would have been quicker for me to just press the button when I was ready. There we go. And then again, you will have under inspiration on the website, step by step, showing you all the little different bits. There will be a video once I have finished editing it. Again, goes that way. It's amazing how different it feels doing soft crafts to paper crafts. I can sit and do paper crafts all day. Soft crafts, it's taken me a little bit longer. So there's your starter layout. There's your more challenge if you are used to sewing and just fancy more of a challenge. There we go. Oh, thank you, Maxine. It has been fun. I've been working on it for ages, and I kept saying, right, I'm going to launch it on a set date, and it's like, nope, didn't happen. And it's because it's different. It's something different for us here. And it's always a bit worrying when you do something a bit different. But I've had fun. I'm having fun doing it. So you know what? I'm going to share it. Let me see if I can find my mouse. I'm hoping our computer gremlins decided to stay away. It's not as easy watching the screens when you're concentrating on your fabric because you're like this. And normally when I'm crafting, I can kind of keep crafting and keep my eye on things. So if I've been a bit quiet or missed your comments, I do apologise. What else do I have to tell you? Back Monday, 7 o'clock with more monthly make fun. Using our lovely bulb. Next month's monthly make, there'll be a sneaky peek coming out at lunchtime for that. It is lovely. It's something a bit different. It is, yeah, it's a good one next month. I'm trying something different. Yeah, it's that right there. It's looking at me. That's my next job for today. So just go and do a little bit more work on that because I'm not quite happy with some of my samples. So I want to do a little bit more work on that this afternoon, and then yeah, it's gonna be one of them days, I think. So yeah, back Monday for monthly make, and if you want to check out our luscious sleeves and our Crafty Roo, head on over to our website probably later today because it's taking a while to load. I told you, technology gremlins today. So thank you for joining me this morning. I hope I've inspired you to have a go, grab some fabric, grab some threads, and just have a go with your stamps. It's exciting and it's so relaxing. I do like sitting there sewing at night. So thank you all for joining me today. Do take care, stay safe, and I will see you all again very soon. Thanks for now. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.